Good evening, Milwaukee, Michigan, Minnesota. Good evening, Jacksonville, Cleveland. Good evening, Columbia, Baton Rouge, Fort Washington, Maryland. Good evening, good evening. And I definitely want to say that this is definitely BYOB Worldwide this evening. Yes, it is. I see you guys. So we're worldwide. Nigeria, Australia. I love it. I love it. New York, Akron, Grenada. Yes. Good evening. Good evening. So, ladies and gentlemen, keep dropping it in the chat. Keep dropping it in the chat where you're calling in from as you log in. But let's go ahead and get our minds right, right? Let's go ahead and get our mindsets right this evening. Now, what does that mean? What does that mean? That means that we have to walk in those affirmations. We have to walk in that. And ladies and gentlemen, that's why we have you drop them in the chat, right? That's why we have you drop them in the chat. It makes a big difference. We talked about it this morning on this morning's call. Just the mindset being the first thing. We talked about how that's discussed in the book, Be Your Own Bank, Hidden in Plain Sight. So definitely you all just let's walk in it. Let's own it. I am a BYOB master trader. I'm a BYOB master trader. I'm the signal. All my trades end in profit. I am 777. And for that question, the evening calls, yes, they're recorded. Let me give you the YouTube channel right now. Dropping it in the chat. That's actually the YouTube channel right there, which is where you can find the recordings. So the recordings from earlier this week are already on there, along with the radio Hidden in Plain Sight, the radio broadcast Hidden in Plain Sight. That's already on there. You're very, very welcome. Very welcome. So now let me go ahead and we're going to get started here this evening. But I see you guys dropping those books in there. Let me start out with gratitude. Definitely want to say thank you all for your support. Thank you so much. But just so you know, those books were written with you in mind. They were written for you, with you in mind, really talking about things that are hidden in plain sight. That's what we're here for. Now, tonight, as I promised, we're going to talk about the tools. And we're going to talk about how to trade the BYOB cash out strategy. And then we're going to talk about the Harmonic Scanner that we take quite a few of the trades. We look at, we look at the setups that come from there. And you see, normally I'll grab them from the hour, but what I want to do tonight is we've had questions on the 15, and I will tell you, I'm going to tell you now that we're going to do this more than once when the market gets some clear direction. We've been talking about the type of markets that we've had, and we had central bank announcements today. We've had, we have the fundamentals that impact the market. We have a political market. We have economic release, those different types of market. And the market still hasn't gotten clear direction. And so what I did notice is as I was looking for this evening, quite a bit of the ones on the 15-minute chart have been playing out. Now, when you have a nice trending market, there are some things that I definitely want to come back and be able to show you guys, but we're going to start here. Now, I'm going to have to share my screen twice with you guys, so I'm going to walk you through the strategy in just a moment. Definitely going to do that. Hold on, let me do this. Make sure you guys are muted. All right, so I'm going to walk you guys through the strategy, but what I'm going to do first is we're going to come here and I'm going to show you, because for whatever reason, my browser is not acting right tonight. And so I want to show you the Harmonic Scanner so you can understand what the Harmonic Scanner is. And then we'll come back to the BYOB cash out strategy. And so I'll end up changing my screen share. So if you notice that, how do I get here? Okay. How did I get here? I logged in and I logged into im.center. im.center is where your tools are. im.center. And then of course I came down to my strategies. You click strategies on the side. Now, when I come down for strategies, everything is highlighted, that you'll have access to. For those of you out with the elite package, cough, cough, hint, hint, cough, cough, hint, hint. That's what you should have because you want to have access to everything that this company has to offer, right? And so as you can see, what I want to pull from right now, what I want to pull from first is the harmonics. So when you click harmonics, okay, when I'm clicking harmonics, these are just those harmonic patterns that you know are in the market. And you notice that here you can actually come through here and you get to look at you know different brokers and there's no broker better than the other. It's just all going to be your personal preference. I want you to understand how this works. So there's no broker better than the other. It's just really, you know, the trades that are in there. Now, this is the hour. You can pull them from anywhere. Once again, guys, as we go through this, this is not a standalone tool. I want you to understand this is not a standalone tool. You should not be taking trades on here. It's not a standalone tool. Then we're going to take this back to the vibrato. You always see us take it back to the vibrato, and that is for a reason. Now, when you pull from the hour, what I want you to understand is one of the reasons is this doesn't stay on here. All right. I want to highlight the fact that this does not stay on here. And as you understand, and as you're looking at that, with that clear understanding that this does not stay on here, right? That, you know, the ones that are down here, that they are the ones that have typically already played out and are playing out. You see how this one played out a while back. It already played out and it's still riding. So it'll eventually fall off as more begin to play out. But let's say we get one that does not play out, then it's going to fall off. It's not going to stay on there. And so you'll come look for something, you'll see a setup, then you'll come back later and it's not there. So that's another reason why, you know, that we don't stay and we don't use it on here, because this is consistently updated. These lists are consistently updated. Now, of course, if I see something on more than one broker, then that's going to be a great thing, right? You know, you're going to get excited about that because more than one broker has identified that harmonic pattern. There are different types of harmonic patterns. If you want the training on the harmonic patterns, then that is definitely something that is in the academy, right? That's in a like series 300, 400, but that's definitely something that is in the academy. So that's where you're going to find that training on the different types of harmonic patterns, that type of thing. But what I want you to focus on and what I'm sharing with you this evening is the fact that this is a tool that you can utilize to help identify it. So some of them, of course, as you can see, the brokers are going to pull more. Then, of course, you kind of see that these didn't have a lot of them on there. But then, of course, like on this one, we have quite a few that were called. Now, as you come down, you know, you even get some crypto on here. But as you come down and as you begin to see some of the things that you're looking at, is the simple fact of, you know, everything that is on here. But what I'm highlighting is down here. Look, you even got some exotics on there. But what I'm highlighting is I just click through here, as when you come down here and as you're looking at this, you know, what you're looking at and what you're seeing is the simple fact that these are the ones that are playing out. These are the ones that are beginning to play out. And if they fall somewhere in the middle, they're going to fall off of this chart. So we're going to bring it back. We have to bring it back to the actual vibrato. That's something that we must do, something we have to do. All right. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and change my screen share. Wait, before I do that, the 15-minute chart as well. So you notice that you'll have more because, of course, the 15-minute chart, you definitely have to, like I say, you take that into consideration. You see what's going on. And you know, that's definitely something. It's the same way though. You see it coming from up here, and the ones that sitting up here at the top are the newer trades. And then the ones down here at the bottom are the trades that have been playing out for a while. So if I was to click one of these, you'll see that those have been playing out for a while. And where is it even at? Let me click another one. I'm not gonna spend all night looking for that. So you see how this one was down here, and look how long it's been sitting on there. Now, why is that the case? Because we've had quite a few of them, right? We've had quite a few of them that have not played out. I mean, we've experienced that on the calls. We'll pull them up and they don't play out. So that's why the ones that did play out, they're on here for a little bit longer. And that's strictly just because of the type of market that we're having right now, okay? Strictly just because of that type of market. Now, before I change over from here, because I'm gonna change my browser, Any questions, comments, or testimonies on this before I change? Now, if it's about asking me how to take the trades, that's what I'm about to show you. So other than that, basically on what I just shared with you, any questions, comments, or testimonies on what I just shared with you? No questions, comments, testimonies. All right, all right. So I wanted you to see this because as I stated, I'm gonna change my share. Okay, come on back over here to the Vibrata because as you can see, I went to the Academy, did the same thing, right? I clicked it and I get an error or something. So, you know, so when you get that, I'm sharing that with you because that's the browser. That's my, you see, it's not the tools. Okay. So we get questions on tools all the time. So I probably just need to go clean out my cookies or, you know, do something like that. So that definitely is the actual, that's on the user's end. So I just want to highlight that. So you get that, go clean your cookies, or like for something where this is not pulling up for whatever reason, you always want to go in and it's something on the end of maybe the browser, something on the end of that. So let's talk about on your end, basically is what I'm saying. So yes, I see you guys still logging on and I see you guys still dropping it in the chat. That's the right thing to do, right mentality, right approach. So if you're still logging on, you just joined us, go ahead and drop it in the chat. Let me know where you're calling in from. And also what I do need to know, because I know I had to do that, what I didn't ask you, which I normally ask you first. If this is your first time joining us this evening for BYOB Market Talks, let me get a 111 in the chat. If this is your first time joining us this evening, let me get a 111 in the chat. And if you're still learning how to cash out, let me get a 222. Awesome, awesome. Well, welcome, 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 and welcome back. Quite a few of you all. Welcome, 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 and welcome back. Now, so what we're going to do so you all understand how this works, right? You guys understand. So look at you guys. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm glad I did come back and ask. So you understand how this works is these evening calls. These evening calls are geared for your training, is to really help you understand, because we believe in you being a signal. That's why these affirmations are dropped in there. That's why we do the affirmations. We believe that you are the signal, right? You are the signal. And so what it is you're going to be trained on how to be the signal, right? That's the mentality, the thought process that you must have, because you see that chat was flooded today, nothing but 777. That 777 means that you made a withdrawal from the market. That 777 means that you take profit from the market. So you want to be in that Telegram chat. It's encouraging, you know, individuals cashing out. So you definitely can see individuals just like yourself who are learning the skill set to put themselves on the other side of money. So that's what that is all about. And then of course, in the mornings, what we do is take what we learn here on the evening calls and implement it. All right. That's what we do. Now, before we get started, I'm going to walk you guys through the BYOB cash out strategy. And then we're going to I have some trades that I pulled from I definitely pulled from the Harmonic Scanner, because I was going to walk you through. So I'm just making a little bit of adjustment because I couldn't have it on the same browser. So I did write them down, but that's why I'll open the call up with walking you through the Harmonic Scanner, that part of the tool, you know, that specific tool and that platform. How come the alerts are on the left side of my screen? I am at imlwebanalyzer.com. So that's where I am. Now you might be in you might have actually gone into im.center. If you went to im.center and you click the Vibrata here, when you pull up the Vibrata here, it has the white background. And as you can see, they're on this side, right? So we're going to come in and we're going to select our strategy, which is the BYOB cash out strategy. It's going to update and it'll be on this side. So for those of you all who are newer to IM Mastery Academy, then what you understand is that before they merged everything to im.center, every tool had a separate site. So everything was merged into one location, which is im.center. Now, the one thing I can tell you is that here with im.center, you can access everything. However, what it is right here is we can I still go to imlwebanalyzer.com because that's the one I learned on. That's the one I like. That's the one. And so Stephen Hooley actually keeps this updated. So all the other sites have collapsed to where they just combine them into im.center. But you can still go, if you look right here, that says imlwebanalyzer.com. You see this says web analyzer in there, but they've changed the name to the Vibrata because it scans the market for those high probability trades. So hopefully that answered your question with a little understanding as well. So just from that, for that perspective. Now, what I want to highlight before we get started, like I said, I'm gonna walk you through the strategy and we're going to walk through some of those trades. I'm gonna take my time with you guys and understanding it because I want to make sure you guys understand it this evening. Now, as you see, this is Bitcoin, but I do have to highlight Bitcoin because I don't give you trades often. We'll walk you through them, but I know I gave you Bitcoin this morning. And so if you take, because we don't do signals, but every now and then there's some things that we cannot ignore. And Bitcoin is definitely one of them. And so please tell me, give me the 777 in the chat. Just give me some 777s if you rolled this Bitcoin today. If you rolled this, because we talked about it on our morning calls this morning. And this, ladies and gentlemen, should have been some nice profit for you guys today. So don't always give you like, hey, you should watch this as soon as it breaks that line. And we were around this $16,000 mark. And as you can see, look, it's gone up for over $400 from where you could have possibly got in waiting on it to break that line. So that's just nice profit. That's really all I can say is nice profit. So when I tell you take the trade, so I just want to highlight that. And as you can see, it's definitely in an overbought, right? But Bitcoin is now, they're like that safe haven. And so we've been talking about the market. We've been talking about what's going on. And as you can see, look at this. We get another 4-hour candle in less than 2 hours, but you can see it's definitely overbought, but it's just been buying, right? It's just been buying all day. That's just what it's been doing. So definitely quite a bit of profit. So now let's go ahead and talk about the BYOB cash out strategy. And I'm just going to start it from right here. I'm going to walk you through this sell and this buy. Now, remember, when you go to take a trade, just like right here, you see that sell, that blue line cross over the red, we'll walk through that, but you can definitely see where this is flipped. And if I check my hour, you can see where it looked like it's trying to continue, even though that's in an oversold position down here. So I'm going to walk you through. So you guys just watch this one too, right? Just watch it. Let's see what's coming up, what's pulling up over here. Like, don't make me change my tools training tonight. Okay. Like, let's not change the tools training to a live trading call. But let's talk about it because you can kind of see what that's been doing as well. So as we look at this, okay, as we navigate and as we look at this, one of the things that you want to see is you got that blue line cross over the red and a downward momentum. You have the blue line cross over the red and upward momentum. Now we're going to start on the 15-minute chart. And when we start on the 15-minute chart, we're starting on the 15-minute chart because when you trade on the higher time frames, bottom line, you need to know some market structure. Bottom line, you need to know your support and resistance. You need to have, you build your understanding. On the 15-minute chart, you can learn enough to grab your 10 pips and cash out. And then you build from your understanding from there. All right, that's how that works. Now, when I'm looking at this, I have my blue line cross over the red and downward momentum. And here, I'm gonna actually put this here for you because I want you to see. All right, so I'm putting this right there for you because like I said, I want you to be able to see when that crossover happened. It started crossed over about right here. You see that? Now, I don't know what that means. So you gotta 0.3 what? So now right here, you got the blue line cross over the red and an upward momentum right here. And this is what we're looking for. So I just want you to highlight a little bit right here just to kind of show you where these crossovers happen. All right. Now you can see where that crossover starts to happen. I'm gonna leave it over to the side just a little bit because I really want you guys to be able to see what it is that we're looking at. Now, right here, what I'm saying is then you come up here, you're looking for a red candle, and I'm gonna move this one over a candle just because I want you to see. So now you come up here looking for that red candle with a flat top, PSR flip to the top. I need you to think top, 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 you know. So I need you to think top, top, top. So you can't see my screen. I'm definitely sharing it. I don't know why. I know try to restart it. Like if you were on the call this morning, that's actually what happened with my daughter's Zoom, is there was absolutely no volume. So it was that something with the Zoom. We restarted the computer and she was right. She was, I mean, like no issues. It started right up. So yeah, try it and jump back on here with us. So so we have the red candle, I mean the blue line crossover ran in the downward momentum, red candle flat top, PSR flip to the top. So you want to have that top, 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 right? You got to have that top, top, top that happens right there. Now we got that blue line crossover ran in upward momentum, green candle with a flat bottom, and this is where that PSR flip to the bottom. Now the reason I'm showing you this one is because right now it's quite obvious that this is a correction. You know, we're looking at a trade that's already happened. Right now, it's really quite obvious that this is already taking place, that we were moving downward, right? We were in that sell momentum, and before we got consolidated. It's real easy to look at it in the past and say, you know what, that's what the market was doing. But you have to make the decision from right here. You know, like right here, would I take this trade? Would I get into this trade right here? You know, blue line crossover to red in a downward momentum. I got a red candle with a flat top, PSR flip to the top. Right, where you have nothing but space and opportunity. You have to be able to look at this and say, you know what, will I take this trade? You know, is this trade worth taking? So what happens is, as I need to come over here and I need to drop down to the 5 minute, because when I drop down to the 5 minute, bottom line is it needs to still be selling or it needs to still be buying. That's just the reality of it. I need to still be buying or I need to still be selling. If I'm still buying, right? If I'm still buying, you can definitely see on this 5 minute where I'm still buying, okay? And if I'm still selling, you can see right here, I'm still selling. So that's what I'm looking for. Even right here, I'm still selling, okay? That's what we were doing. Now, I want you to pay attention to this stochastic curving up right here. That's what I really want you to pay attention to that. Now, I come up here to the hour where my time frame, what we're doing is checking our time frame confluence. Now, right here with the time frame confluence, it needs to look like something, a trade that you would take. It needs to look like a setup happening. That's the look like, right? That's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for something where it needs to look like. Now, with that look like, you can see that this is definitely in that sell momentum. Look at my stochastic, it has already been, but you can still see, you know, even though it was selling, it started getting a little sideways motion, but for the most part, we're there. If I check my 30 minute on that one, just to get more comfortable, because it's GBP gives me the exception to the rule, you definitely see where that's a nice downtrend right there. So it helps to check other time frames as well. Come back to my hour. Nothing about this looks like I would take. I'm not dropping down to my 30 minute. All right, hold. I'm not dropping down to my 30 minute because something needs to look like it's a sell I would take. Something has to look like. Now with something looking like, you see this is selling, this is selling. So I do not have confluence, period, point blank. I don't have confluence. Not taking that trade, not doing that to myself, not doing that to you all. Okay, so it don't automatically drop down to the 30 minute. Okay, something has to look like, it has to be geared up, it has to give me a look like. And now look at this one, you definitely can see, but you also see it's being held at a support line. Now you can see we're in that oversold situation, oversold condition, and it's being held on the support line. So once again, you want to understand where the big grand scheme of the market is. I'm not going to spend much time on this because this is not what we're talking about tonight. That's why I said I don't want to get to where we're shifting the training, you know, from what we're supposed to be talking about. So, all right. You're so thankful for BYOB, you being a signal and not chasing a signal. I love it. That's, you guys know I love a testimony. So now let's go over here and look at a few of these trades. Okay, I want to highlight just a few of these. So these actually came off of the 15-minute chart. All right. So when you pull them off the 15-minute chart, you still need to bring this back to the Vibrata. Now, I wanted to walk you through trade by trade, right? I wanted to pull it from there, but you know, we're going to improvise just a little bit because I don't want to keep flip-flopping back between the browsers and things like that. So as I look right here, okay, this was Euro JPY, okay? And what I did is you see where this yellow line is? That's the time where the last part of the triangle was on there. So that's the D. So when you see this yellow line on here, understand that that's where that actual D is. All right. I just want you to know that that harmonic pattern was formed back here. And this is where the end of that harmonic pattern was. So this is where it is. So what you're looking at before you can take a trade, okay? Before you can take a trade, I'm always looking. I still need my strategy. That's why we just spent a little bit of time on the strategy. Now, these are the actual take profits that were lined up on there, but we just literally, I wanted to spend a little time on that because I really wanted you all to understand, as far as, taking these trades and what you're looking for. So as far as taking the strategy and coming back and implementing it correctly. So you got that blue line cross over the red and an upward momentum right here. I have a green candle with a flat bottom. I have a PSR flip to the bottom. That's what I have. And so I'm looking for that buy. So when I think about it, I got buy. So for my buy, for this buy, you think I'm at the bottom. I'm at the bottom, flat bottom, PSR at the bottom, right? That's where we are. So now as I understand that, now let's check my time frame Confluence. I want to drop down to my 5 minute, drop down to my 5 minute. You can see that that's going up in a buy. And then when I come up here to check my hour needs to look like, right? That whole look like setup, that whole look like. And right here, what we got to look like, you can see that this look like my stochastic is curving up. Now this is a little doji candle, right? It's a little doji candle. So some of you all don't like the little doji candles, and that's okay. This is where your personal preference comes in. Some of you guys don't believe this is strong enough, and sometimes it's not. A lot of times it's not. And so if you wanted to wait on the next one, then that would have been perfectly fine. But you can definitely see that how it was gearing up. You can come up here and you can check the 4 hour. I can come up here and check the 4 hour and kind of see what's happening overall with the grand scheme of things on this time frame. And when I do that, look at what's happening. When I do that, look at what's transpiring. When I do that, you can see that blue line cross over the red. You can see that green candle. So once again, the higher time frames are telling me what the market's doing. You already know we're kind of moving sideways. So this is why I said we might have to do this again. This is the situation with a lot of these trades. This is the circumstances with a lot of these on the 15 minute. You notice that on the higher time frame, we've been moving sideways. Well, why is that? That's because of the conditions of the market. It's nothing about the skill set, nothing about anything. It's the same conditions of the market that we've been discussing. It's really just the same thing. And so as you can see, that blue line cross over the red, we have that green candle. And so that's a nice solid candle. So when you looking at how solid that is, this is once again, you being the signal. And of course, it's easy to say when I go back and look at it, I'm looking back in history. I'm looking back at what's already transpired. I'm looking back at what's happened. So it's real easy for me to say, yeah, we could have took that trade, or yeah, you should have took that trade. But I don't ever want you to get in a position where you second guess yourself. We're talking about, we're talking about 34 pips, so you can grab 34 pips. You're going to get a lot of these you get a lot of these on the 15 minute. You get a lot of these when you're talking and you're trading on the 15 minute chart, or when you're pulling from the 15 minute. So the same way we pull from here and we looking, so just so you understand the difference, when I pull it from here, this is those vibrations. So how do you see when I've said, okay, this pulled on a harmonic scanner and it's pulled on a vibrata? It's pulled on a harmonic scanner and it's pulled on a vibrata. Well, it's right here. Right here this is where the vibrata would trigger. This is where the vibrata would trigger. All right. This is where the vibrata would trigger. It would trigger in all of those positions. But the harmonic scanner sees and finds the harmonic patterns. So that's why it's so possible and why it actually happens that it pulls from both perspectives. So you have the harmonic patterns being identified, right? You definitely have those. You have the harmonic patterns being identified, and then the vibrata turns around and it'll scan it from there. And this is what you want to understand about the tools is each tool does something different. Each tool pulls on something different, but you still want to bring it back because these harmonic patterns, I mean, these vibrations that scan through the market and the strategies here, and you could come in and you could type up here what it is that you're looking for. So I don't have to, I'm not limited when I'm back over here actually on the Vibrata. So as we move forward with this, any questions, comments, or testimonies, I do have a few examples for you, but I just want to make sure that, like I told you, we'll slow it down tonight so we can make sure we get all your questions answered as we navigate through it. And so if you have a question while I'm talking, drop it in the chat. Of course, it's still good that you listen to what we're saying, but this is the gist of what the training is tonight. So as we're walking through these examples, you know, drop it in the chat. So it's best to check the 5:15 an hour. That's what the time frame Confluence is. That's the time frame Confluence. If I'm on the 15-minute chart, then my Confluence is on a 5 and an hour. That's what the Confluence is. And just to bring a little bit more clarity, okay? Because I just to address a few questions in the chat. On here, while we're here, the Vibrata is where you analyze, okay? This is where you analyze. Your MetaTrader 4 is where you enter the trade. All right, your MetaTrader 4 is where you enter the trade. You analyze on the Vibrata, you enter the trade on the MetaTrader 4. All right, don't analyze on the MetaTrader 4 and then come back over here and try to no, you analyze here, you enter the trade. Your stop loss, okay? My stop loss. Like if you look on here, another thing I'm going to shift my screen just for this. All right, if I come here, when I'm looking at this, they give you a stop loss, right? They give you one. Don't use that one. These are support and resistance lines. That's it. That's all this is. And we talk about stop losses being on a support and resistance line, right? If you were doing this, if you had to pick your own stop loss, okay? So you definitely, you see, I never jot down the entry. I never jot down the entry. I'm always looking at the take profits. But I already know there's support and resistance lines, and you will see me adjust them. So let's talk about that for a minute too. Because like I said, I have a few examples, but let's talk about that too. So this stop loss is a support and resistance line, okay? That's what this is. So you notice that it'll come back up and it can touch that. It'll come back up and it'll touch it. So you don't want to use a support resistance line for your stop loss. You never want to do that. And then when we're coming through here, like I said, you don't automatically enter here. That you don't do that. This is not a standalone. And then I'll show you also as far as those take profits. So once again, you know, anything outside of 10 pips and cash out, you want to make sure that you are definitely walking through that. So let's just stay on this example for just a minute. You know, my stop loss, this PSAR is a parabolic stop and reversal. So it is a trailing stop loss. That's what it is. So you never want to make this your stop loss. You just don't do it. Like I would not put my stop loss on here. So when I say support and resistance lines, you notice how trades go from zone to zone, from zone to zone. Just going up is going from zone to zone, zone to zone. So I do not want to, if I know this is where it's going to pull back, I get correction, you know what's going to happen with these trades. You don't want to make that your stop loss, okay? So we always talk about it breaking the line and breaking the support resistance line, right? We always talk about that. So my stop loss is not there. Also, why do I make adjustments from what they have over there? Let's talk about that for just a minute. Let's change to the line chart. Line chart will help you identify support and resistance lines. Now, if you look, I probably would have adjusted this one as well. Now, you see it was up here. Now I'm gonna bring it down to here. If I bring it down to here, now look at these touches. I got touches here, touches here. This is actually the closing price. If I'm looking at this, regardless of where I'm at in the market, isn't this a lot clearer? You know, can I see where these support and resistance lines should go a lot clearer? So for those of you all who are still learning how to draw them, change it to the line chart. Change it to the line chart, and you can definitely see, you know, where, change that to the line chart. And when you change that to the line chart, what you're doing is you're definitely seeing how you got these touches here, these touches, And I'm gonna just change the color because I just added this one and we don't want to mix it up with what they had for the training purposes. But you can see that now when I change this back to Hikanashi candles, look at what happens and how you can see, look at where the lines fall. And it should be a little clear for you right now. It should definitely be a little clear. Questions, comments, testimonies. Drop it in the chat. Questions, comments, testimonies. All right. You say that's how you learn. It's very clear. Awesome, awesome, awesome. So let's see. Now I want to come back over here. I want to show you, you're very welcome. I want to show you one that didn't play out. And I want to show you, is this one? So yeah, I want to show you this one before I give you other examples. You need, absolutely, you need to look back to place your lines. Absolutely. You notice that, let me do it on this one. So if I'm gonna place a support and resistance line, even, right, if I'm gonna just place this line, you know, look at this. Let me come back up here on the higher time frame. Look at where this line is, okay? Actually, let me put this on. Let me make this real clear for you. I'm gonna tell you, when I say support and resistance lines are your lifeline, look at this. This is the daily chart, okay? And on the daily chart, look how far back this goes. That's December 2019. Look at how this has been knocking on this line. Look how long this has been hitting on this line. Now we're talking about July 2019. Do you see how significant this is? So it wicked down below here in January of 19. It wicked down, but look at how it pulled up. Look at this, okay? So look at this, look at this, look at this. So you can see how significant these lines are. And you know, so are we gonna come back down here? And so this same line, you see I didn't draw any other lines. I'm on the daily chart. Now I'm in 2016. I'm in 2016. This exact same line is very significant to the market. This same line. So a support and resistance line does not shift. The market moves, and the support and resistance line is always, you see how the market is being held above it? And when it finally crossed it, now it's being held below it. So this is a major support and resistance line. This is just a support, and that's what they are. So I can draw many support and resistance lines on here. But when you draw them, I want you to understand how significant they are. When I tell you that's your lifeline, that's your lifeline. All right. And then even if we come back over here and we look at the Bitcoin, Bitcoin hasn't hit this mark since, let's go to, I'm gonna pull up the monthly on this one. Because look at how far this goes back, right? The last time Bitcoin hit this was in December 17, all right? I want you to understand this. The last time Bitcoin was this high was in December 17. And so do you see how it's being held around this area? So it's been, of course, it's a monthly. So this is everything that, this candle is everything that took place in this month. So you see how high it got, right? And that's where, you know, you see, so now that's something that you look at like, okay, is Bitcoin going to reach this? Is it going to reach this height again? But then look at how far it fell back. Look at how far it pulled back before it came back up here. And of course, in March, you see how low it got in March to where it was just $3,800. And that's due to COVID. So I just really want you to understand how significant these lines are. They're very, very important. And even if I look before that, look how tight my look at on the monthly, look at how tight my pivot lines are and look how wide they are now. You see? So just from my understanding, those support and resistance lines, they're so important. All right. They're very important. They are very important. So you want to learn your support and resistance lines. You want to understand your support and resistance lines. They are very, very important. And if you need to practice, use the tools we're using tonight. Use those tools. Use the tools back and forth, okay? Use those tools. And where you can look at the harmonic scanner, treat it like the answers in the back of the book. Come back over here, grab the currency pair, use the currency pair, draw your lines, compare it to what the harmonic scanner has. That's the best way that I've always been able to help people do and understand how to draw their lines. So just for that understanding, when the pivot lines adjust based on the liquidity in the market. They're gonna adjust pivot lines are formed based on what the market's been doing. That's how they're formed. So let's see here. I want to put the other one on here, Euro USD. So right here, let me drop this other. I'm gonna put take profit 3 on here because I want you to see 17581. You're welcome. So this is where take profit 3 was. And then let me put take profit. Actually, I'm gonna just put them all in here. I want to show you something. 17825. Now this one didn't play out, right? And there's, like I said, we'll end up doing this again because there's a point that I really wanted to be able to share with you guys, but that'll be more when the market gets back to a trendy, when we get back to a trendy market. Now, what I wanted to highlight right here is this is another one on a 15-minute chart. Blue line crossover to red and downward momentum, red candle with a flat top, PSR flip to the top. Now let's check our time frame confluence, okay? I'll drop this. Now, when you're trading by yourself, you don't need these arrows. You don't need these arrows because this is what you're looking at, right? This, you understand that this is what you see. So now, as I'm sitting here and I'm looking at this, I drop down to the 5-minute chart. When I drop down to the 5-minute chart, all right, when I drop down to the 5-minute chart, you see it's still selling. When I come up to the hour for my time frame confluence, all right, I'm on the hour, and what you see is not selling right now. And so, of course, we will wait because we want to be with the confluence. And so what time was this? So you just a few more candles and come back up here, check my confluence. And you can see now, you didn't see any of this. This is what I want to highlight. You didn't see any of this. You didn't see any of this consolidation. What you saw was it looked like it was starting to change. So remember, we're looking back. We're looking in the past. And so when I see that one, let me come check my 4-hour. When I check my 4-hour is in a buy. So what does that tell me? That tells me that I'm not going past take profit 1. That tells me I'm not doing more than 10 pips in cash out, and I'm not doing more than my take profit 1. That's what that tells me. Because in order for me, what do we always talk? How do we always train? What do we always say? Grab your 10 pips and cash out, or to that very first support line, right? Support resistance line. So 10 pips and cash out, are you going to take the trade to the first support and resistance line? That's what we always talk about. That's what we always say. And when we say that, you definitely can see now when I'm here on my 15-minute chart, this is where it plays out at. So I don't want anybody feeling like, oh, wait, I'm going to keep going. You know, oh, I got 38 pips out of this. I can get almost 40 pips, or it'll come down to whatever. No, 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 no. Absolutely not. So you want to, perfect practice makes perfect. Perfect practice makes perfect. You always want to be in that thought process and that mindset. Perfect practice makes perfect. So as I'm looking at this, I know that I take this to that first support resistance line. That's it. I'm not going no further. Because when I look at my higher time frames, I do have confluence enough to take that trade right here. But I don't, you see what my 4-hour is doing. My 4-hour is buying. So I don't have a trade set up on a higher time frame to be able to take that for a sale, to be able to go further than that, right? All right, questions, comments, testimonies. I want to be, anytime I have the examples, I don't care where you pull it from, that's definitely something you want to be making sure that you are looking at, you are paying attention to. All right. So same thing, right? Can I explain that again? Let me see. Let me find it again. All right. Is if the candles are close to the trend lines, would you stay away from the trade? I'm on the 15-minute chart. Now you're talking about trading on the hour. You're actually on the hour. That's where you are. You're on the hour. And also you want to follow the right, exactly. See, I knew. But you also want to follow the rules. I can put a trend line right here on this one. I can put a trend line on this one. And you see, where does it do? Where does it push when it breaks it? It broke it, right? It broke it. So what do I have? I have a blue line cross over the red and downward momentum. I have a red candle with a flat top, piece or flip to the top. So look at this. When it broke this trend, even this trend right here, these are trend candles. So for some of you all that like the visuals, draw the trend line. It's fine. They're trend candles. So it's trend candles. So you see where we got the confluence, where the confluence added up is where it broke the trend. Because you see, we had the red candle PSR, but we didn't have confluence. I didn't say wait for the second candle. No, 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 no. Don't overthink what I'm saying. You get your strategy, and then you do your time frame confluence. If your confluence is not there, you have to wait. I've never said wait on a second candle. I've never said that. If the confluence is not there, you have to wait. If you have confluence, then you can take the trade. And now what I'm talking about is on the 15-minute chart. Now on the higher time frames, you needed to break the trend line. You need to check your support and resistance lines. That's what you need to do there, because of, you need to do that on the higher time frames. And so you wanted to break, just like when we were looking, because you're not the initial push is that tighter entry is on that 15-minute chart. That's that initial push. That's that tighter entry that happens. So if when you're trading, taking the longer term trades, you have to allow, and once again, so I already know we're going to come back to this again, because it's going to cycle through. It has to cycle through. So this initial push on the 15-minute is that tighter entry. And then it'll cycle through. We'll get a correction. We'll get something. And then that's what'll push, that's what'll continue our push. And we have to allow that to cycle through. That's why on the higher time frames, you have to wait for the 15, and you have to wait for the hour to break through that support line, because you're typically already at that take profit one, like you see right here. So in repeating this, you can see blue line cross over the red and downward momentum, red candle flat top, PSR flip. Same rules we always talk about, same rules. On the 15-minute chart, you do your 10 pips and cash out. If you are not understanding, if you have not grasped the concept yet of support and resistance lines, until you grasp the concept of support and resistance lines, you do not need to be doing anything other than your 10 pips and cash out from the 15-minute chart. That's it. Or you can be a super scalper on the lowest, on the 5-minute where we'll pull some of the trades, you can super scalp, but 5 pips and get out of there. But until you understand support and resistance lines, do not try to push the trade any further. Now, with this, on the 15-minute chart, I can trade to that first support and resistance line. That is your take profit. That's your take profit. Now, when we look at the higher time frame, to go past a take profit one, it needs to align on the higher time frames. So what you're seeing right here is I'm gearing up for a sale. The stochastic began to cross down. My candle pulled back. Remember, you don't see all that consolidation. So you had no idea the market was about to consolidate. That's what you saw when that happened. So you knew that I can go grab my pips. I can get to that first support and resistance line. When I looked at my 4-hour, where that transpired, okay, when I look at my 4-hour, what had happened, my 4-hour is in a buy. My stochastic is in a buy. I'm not going past. I cannot go past. I'm not moving past that first take profit. It's not a wise decision, right? Perfect practice makes perfect. Perfect practice makes perfect. And you want to always position yourself where, you take your profit. And this is why so many of you all have a higher accuracy rate than the 92%. This is why, because the market makes sense. The market talks to you. The market, it does. It just makes sense. And if you allow the market to speak to you and not try to force it, and don't try to overthink it, then, that's where that relationship is going to develop. So don't try to make up new rules, like, oh, so we wait for the second candle as an example. No, we don't make up new rules. Okay, so like this other question, we're trading time frame confluence, all 3 times don't match. Stay away. Time frame confluence, they're not all gonna match, right? For example, You know, the 15-minute chart is where everything needs to align. It needs to align. This is where it has to align. This is where it has to align. My 5-minute, it needs to still be selling. It needs to still be buying. That's what it needs to be doing. And I'm saying it like that intentionally. It's not bad English. I'm saying it like that intentionally. Still be buying, still be selling. And I'm saying it like that because the higher time frames tell me where the market's going. The higher time frames tell me what the market's doing. The higher time frames give me direction in the market. That's what they do. But the lower time frames is all the activity. So right now, that 5-minute that still be buying, that still be selling, that's why that one has to be in alignment. You know, it can't be in a correction. It can't be in a pullback. It can't be in that. It needs to still be doing what it needs to be doing. And then when I go to the hour, because the lower time frames happen first, right? So the lower time frames, you're going to see the activity begin to happen because 1 hour candle is 4 15-minute candles. So this might have started moving on the second candle, but you're not going to see it on here until the next candle forms. So this is why you can, like, if I was taking a trade from here, then this would have been an absolute no-go. You know, let me make it bigger to make this clear. So if I was taking a trade from here, this would be an absolute no-go. Because yes, I got my blue line cross over the red right here, but I would need a red candle with a flat top and a PSR flip to the top. I don't have that. So I'm not, that's what I mean by not the same. It has to look like something you'd be waiting on. So this looks like something I'd be waiting on. I have a blue line cross over the red and the downward momentum. I have a red candle. I have a red candle. And so because I have a red candle, I'm like, oh, okay, my trade will come soon. It'll be here soon, but it's on the hour. So I know to check back in another hour. So it looks like something that's setting up. You don't want to overthink it. This is the same thought process when I'm sitting here on a 15-minute chart. It's that same thought process when I'm looking at this and I say, oh, wait, I got this lined up, the stochastic, and then I come here. Oh, I got a green candle. All of you guys get it there. All of you get it there. The reason why it's not clear when you get to the hour is because you're overthinking it. It's the exact same thing. Would I wait on this trade to manifest? Same thought process. Like same thing. Right here. Blue line cross over the red, green candle with a flat bottom. I'm waiting on the PSR flip. Same thought process. So for the purpose of time frame confluence, it has to look like it's going where I want it to go soon. This looks like where I want it to go soon. This looks like where I want it to go. This looks like it's gearing up, it's setting up for where I want it to go soon. That's what the hour time frame confluence is. That's what the higher time frame confluence is. The lower time frame, it needs to still be doing it. Because think about it, it's 3 5-minute candles and 1 15-minute candle. So if my 5-minute candle starts shifting and it starts going a different direction, it starts doing something different, then, you know, guess what? There's a shift happening. There's a change happening. And so that'll make so much more sense when you start trading on the higher time frames, because think about the hour. You know, think about that for just a moment. Just think about that hour for just a minute. When I drop down to the 15, that 15 has already gone through an entire cycle. So, but it's the same application. It's the same thought process. It's the same thing. So perfect practice makes perfect. Perfect practice makes perfect. Perfect practice makes perfect. And so you might not think that correction is a big deal on a 5, but on that 15, it's significant when you're trading on the hour. I needed to break through that support resistance line. I need to make sure it pushes through. And then you've even seen on a 5-minute, when you jump the gun, how you lower your accuracy rate. But if you pause, wait, have some patience, your accuracy rate is there. Questions, comments, testimonies as we get ready to close out. We're going to have to, you know, we're definitely going to finish this in a trending market, but I think this brought some clarity. And once again, like I promise you, anytime we do something in the evenings, drop it in the chat. I guarantee you I'll answer your questions. But anytime you do something in the evenings, we're going to implement this in the mornings, right? That's what we do. We show you how to work it out. Questions, comments, testimonies. Drop it in the chat. Drop it in the chat. Drop it in the chat. I got you. Drop it in the chat. Great training. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So I have to change my time frame to 5 minutes. No, not on the MetaTrader 4. Not on the MetaTrader 4. Not on the MetaTrader 4. Once again, you are analyzing on the Vibrata. You enter your trades on the MetaTrader 4. And how do you, I want you all to get into the habit of pushing the button. You know, I want you to walk in your anointing. I want you to walk in your confidence. I want you to walk in, right, that you see that, okay, yes, this is something different. You're analyzing. Do I take it? Do I not take it? That's what a demo account is for. And I can guarantee you just push the button. You push the button. That's what I mean by push the button. Hit that market execution. It's the broker's money. It's not your money. But how are you going to get comfortable in doing it? How are you going to get comfortable setting your stop loss? How are you going to get comfortable setting your take profits? How are you going to get comfortable doing those things? Not by just looking at it. You have to push the button. Push the button. Get in the market. Get in it. So when is the next call? Not till next week. Haha. So done. But we Tuesday and Thursday nights are BYOB Market Talks, followed by a talk with the finance doctor. Tuesday and Thursday nights are BYOB Market Talks, followed by a talk with the finance doctor. So this is where we walk you through the trades. And then Monday through Thursday at 5 a.m. and 9 a.m., right? Monday through Thursday, we're live in the market. And so we cannot predict the market. I can't tell you how the market's gonna go, can't tell you how many trades, how many setups we're gonna do. It's all gonna be determined on the market. But the beauty behind being on those calls is you will get your 777. You will get a 777. You will begin to multiply them because it's going to bring you clarity. It's going to help you understand what we're training on tonight, and it's going to help you be able to take your trades. That's what it's going to do. So great training. This is good. So that's the call schedule. Will this be on YouTube soon? Absolutely. What a blessing. Thank you so much. Thank you. I think a mistake I was making, a mistake of getting in the trades too late. Once there's a flat bottom and a PSR flip, nope, don't make up rules. This is the rules. Blue line cross over the red around the 80 or the 20. Flat top candle, flat top, flat bottom, PSR flip. Check your time frame Confluence, take your trade, hit the button. If it aligns, push the button. If it doesn't align, then you have to wait. Now, I know why you all asked that about that second candle. I know why. And that's because of the Japanese candle training, right? Engulfing patterns and so many different trainings. But I want you to download everything and upload understanding and be in a signal. And because these are Hikinashi candles, these are they interpret, right? They help you read the market. So they're interpretation candles, they're translators. So you don't have to, oh, wait, I got an engulfing candle. I have this, I have that. You do not have to, you know, you don't have to look at those things, right? You don't have to think that, right? So that's where that comes in. So, all right. All right, much gratitude. This has been great training. Awesome, awesome. So what's significant about the 777? Are you in the Telegram chat? Are you in the Telegram chat? Are you in the Telegram chat? All right, so that's 777. Every time you see a 777, that means someone took profit. That means that you took profit out of the market. So what we do is we have you drop that 777, the wealth transfer, right? That's what that means. Instead of you having to drop your, how much profit you made, that's all that means. That's what that means. All right. All right. Now it's time to transition this call. But what I want you all to do, what I need